I told you back in August. I told you when we did all those future episodes in Nashville, Tennessee, and we bet 8-1 on the Kansas City Chiefs to win it all. I told you to follow me. I told you to tail me. But none of you guys wanted to do that. Everybody wants to bitch all night. My phone, ding, 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 ding. It wasn't a holding call. Yes, it was. He admitted to it. So, ladies and gentlemen, with honor, with privilege, with arrogance, with confidence, I tell you that this morning, a tip of the cap to the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, 5 seasons, 2 Super Bowls. That's how we get it done. So, without further ado, here's how we win. And anybody that had the Eagles winning have X's next to their names. It's called game script. That's what they feel like it's going to happen. It's no shame whatsoever. A lot of green check marks, a lot of X's, but it was a ton of fun no matter either side that you were on. That's what sport is all about. 38-35, those under bettors, they are long gone because that was an absolute shootout. So I like to call the second season starts today. We've got 6 months with the NFL, 6 months without. But unlike other brands, we don't take a day off. So with all that being said, let's bring in the stars of the show. You know them, you love them, and where do we start? Well, I'll start with the man that I have all the respect for in the world. And when the game is over, you hear a little ding, ding. And it was the first of 3 showdown bets that I had paid last night. Maestro, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Coach. I know you collected from me and Sia. Oh, and also from Alex. What a great night for you. Seriously, congrats to Patrick Mahomes. He played a perfect second half. The adjusted completion percentage, perfect. He did not have a turnover-worthy play. He did not take a sack. He did not commit a turnover. He scrambled for 44 yards. There's a stat called EPA per dropback. He led the NFL this season at .22. Jalen Hurts had .29 last night. Jalen Hurts played an amazing game. Patrick Mahomes had a .44, which is almost unheard of, and on a, not 100% ankle. I can't wait to see how many pressures the Eagles got. We know they didn't get any sacks. They got 5 hits, but they really could not disturb him at all. Part of that, obviously, is the offensive line, but part of that is Patrick Mahomes making every perfect decision, including throwing the ball when he saw the guy got held to force the refs to make the call. The only thing you can't do if you're the Eagles is have a penalty. It's better to give up the touchdown because then you can come back and try to win the game. But congrats to your Chiefs.
Why isn't all the things you just said what everybody should be talking about this morning? And they are not. But Nick Sirianni, the Eagles head coach, he was like, why is everybody focused on that? We could have done so many other things, like not give up 24 points in the second half. How about that, Eagles defense? Now, up next, he literally just wrote in the chat who won the game last night. But he also touted himself last night for hitting the first play for the early edge crew. All I know is that you did not hit the first play because RJ White had the national anthem.
No.
You had one clip. You couldn't even tout yourself correctly. Speak for yourself, Buckets.
Yeah, I'll be honest, guys. I stopped watching after the coin toss. I tweeted out saying tails never fails. I cashed my tails ticket. 1-0, undefeated Super Bowl record. But I've heard nothing but good things. Fantastic games from both sides. So glad people had fun, at least.
Hashtag embarrassing. Embarrassing that you turned it off after the coin flip.
In my defense, the Costa Rican Premier League started up last night. So I was busy elsewhere.
Up next, he is live from Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada. Zack Attack. Zack Cimini, my man, the next 8 weeks, it's all you, big boy. It's all you. College basketball and March Madness. Let's go.
Incredible Super Bowl. You know what? I should have, because I went to the regular season finale, Kansas City versus the Raiders. That should have been my intuition to get a bet in on the Chiefs. But great Super Bowl. I hope Las Vegas gets a good matchup next year. I can only imagine the fans if we get a Super Bowl like that on the Strip after a big game like that. And then Glendale, I was looking at all the sites last night. They're actually going to have the Final Four next year. So it should be interesting to see how they handle two big events in consecutive years down there in Arizona.
Hopefully they won't be like rolling in a new court that they didn't try out like they did last night with that. So what an embarrassment. They grow that entire field for the Super Bowl on a farm outside of Phoenix, and it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. Did you know that, Buckets? Did you know they grew that field on a farm?
I did not know that.
Of Phoenix? True story. Absolute true story. By the way, somebody in the chat said Buckets is one of a kind, baby. Buckets is one of a kind. He is. Another true story. Did you guys know that Buckets has been dating, right? And he actually told somebody who asked him about Valentine's Day that Bayern Munich was playing on Tuesday instead of Valentine's Day. All right, let's get into it. True story. I can't make this stuff up. Here we go. Storylines that could affect the betting lines today. And before we go forward, there is so much to wrap up from the Super Bowl. Maestro, why don't we start with you? How did the books fare last night?
Well, they fared well because there was a lot of Eagles money. There was more money on the Eagles than the Chiefs, so they won big on the Chiefs. They lost on the total because they needed the under in that. There was more money on the over. But some of the interesting ones, they lost on Kelsey anytime touchdown was the most popular bet at many, many books. So that was a loser for the books, but he stayed under his catch prop at 6.5. Some of the other interesting ones, if you had Nick Bolton anytime TD, that was 75-1, and he cashed. Nick Bolton had a case for defensive MVP, played every single snap, did not give up a first down, 7 tackles, and, of course, the fumble return for a touchdown. The kick to hit the crossbar paid off at plus 450. Just looking at some of these other ones that did hit. Those were the big ones. I mean, there was a live bet on the over at over $1 million, over 62, Ooh. And that hit easily as well. But overall, the books did fine with the Eagles losing.
Do you know how close we came to RJ hitting the first touchdown of the game at plus 2,900? Boston Scott ran it down to the 1. If he would have got in, RJ for the first time playing all year would have gotten to the club. And I would love to see RJ and you, Maestro, in the same club popping bottles. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Now, next storyline. Somebody in the chat says, oh, Byron is playing on Tuesday, so Buckets is going to get hurt twice in the same day. Ooh, snap. All right. Buckets, we've made it through the World Cup. We've made it through the Super Bowl. And now it's all about the Champions League. And, baby, it is back tomorrow. We're here for it. Educate and entertain, baby. Educate and entertain. Let's go.
Oh, well, you know we finally have the return of the round of 16 in the Champions League starting tomorrow afternoon. And I've had a couple people reach out to me and they said, Buckets, I'm scared to bet on cup games. We've seen so many times in the Pokal Cup, the Copa del Rey, the FA Cup, these really, really good teams not perform and rest their starters and really not try. However, that is not the case for the Champions League. You will see the best starting 11 for every single team in every single match. Winning the Champions League means more than winning your own domestic league. This is the top of the top for European teams, so expect nothing but the greatest. With that being said, you have to remember that injuries are still a problem right now, and some teams are even kind of playing mind games. 2 days ago, PSG said that Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi will not be playing against Bayern Munich in the first leg. So the books took that into account and moved the lines. This morning, PSG tweeted saying, actually, they're fine. You know, they're good. They'll be there. It's no big deal. And now they're back in the starting 11, and the books flip-flopped immediately back to those pre-injury stats. So just keep an eye out because injuries like that will absolutely affect how we're going to want to bet these games.
And would you say that if people follow you on Twitter that you update that kind of stuff regularly? Yes?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Follow my man on Twitter. Let's get it done. All right? Now, by the way, is that a chain? What's the look? Is that the chain?
I'm trying to be like AB today. I saw the Super Bowl preview show where he had that giant chain. This is my version of it. I'm working up to him.
Yeah, AB is working on his rap career as we speak. You, not so much. All right. You're too much, man. You are too much. All right. I can always rely on the reliable Zack Attack. He was actually in the studio with me back in August when we did those Futures episode. Remember that, Zack? That was such a fun couple of days. And the Kansas – oh, so I don't want to go back there. I want to focus on college basketball. And that is why we have you here. And you live in the heart of Mountain West country. Talk to me.
Yeah, the Mountain West, terrific conference to watch, at least in the regular season before March Madness gets here. I was watching a game on CBS Sports Network, which has a lot of great conference college basketball. You can watch the Atlantic 10, Southern Conference, Mountain West, a lot of those non-Power 5 conferences, but they're good games. And they profiled the Mountain West. I had to actually look this up. It is ranked the 4th best conference in college basketball. And according to the RPI, there are 5 teams ranked in the top 25: San Diego State, Utah State, Nevada, New Mexico, and Boise State. You love to see that, because last year it was kind of the same story with the Mountain West. There was a lot of good teams. They actually were profiled in March Madness, but then they laid an egg. All 4 teams lost early in March Madness, and it's happened before in the past. So I wonder if this year the Mountain West can get into the tournament, hold themselves with some dignity, and actually advance to the round, a couple of rounds. Get a team to advance a couple of rounds, because we cannot see this happen again in the Mountain West. So we'll see if that RPI actually holds true once March Madness gets here.
It's certainly something to keep an eye on. And by the way, you can see a lot of those Mountain West games on CBS Sports Network, Synergy. And for a little added bonus in the chat this morning, ladies and gentlemen, is our man M², who was the only other person in our crew, in our universe, that was on the Chiefs last night. If you have a question for him, put it into the chat. He'll answer it for you in real time. All right. Enough talk about last night. Enough talk about last week. This is the end of our week. We end on Monday because we do things differently than everybody else. That's why we're the industry leader. But before we get to that, you guys know we got to pay these 3 guys. They're expensive. Here's a word from somebody that we are incredibly proud to be partners with.
Italy's best clubs and brightest stars bring show-stopping skills and unbelievable thrills in the fight to the finish for the Scudetto. Stream every Serie A match live on Paramount Plus.
All right, here we go. Our board for the day. And I feel like we can sweep the board when everybody else is sleeping, not us. So we got one play from SportsLine itself. And if you are brand new to our brand and you're not a SportsLine member, what are you doing? But I'm going to do you a solid. You can use a promo code EARLY right here, right now. I'll give you 30 days for free. You can get college basketball into March Madness, championship week, all of that for $0. After that, how about $10 a month? Does that sound good to you? Sounds good to me. One play tonight, Nuggets and the Heat over 220.5. And as I look at SportsLine in real time, this game, the simulations have it at 227. So we're getting about 6.5 points of value, which is a word I hate using in sports betting. That's the only one I have in my head right now. These are 2 teams that have kind of been struggling scoring the last couple of games, which means they'll be focused on it tonight. And the way the Nuggets play, the Heat will play up to their pace. And I love this over in Miami tonight with the Nuggets and the Heat. All right. Even though the Champions League starts tomorrow, we still have some games today. There is Serie A on Paramount Plus. So, Buckets, if you don't mind, I would love for you to start us off this morning. You're up, big boy.
There is nothing I care more about today than Coach's favorite league, Serie A. Yes, we've got 2 fantastic Serie A matches taking place this afternoon, and it's a pretty dead slate outside of that, so I'm only focused on these 2 matches. I'm starting at 12:30 Eastern in the match between Hellas Verona and Salernitana. And we've got to take a pretty bizarre angle in this game to help find value, because Hellas Verona is a hard team to bet on. Pre-World Cup break, they were horrendous. You couldn't bet on them. They couldn't score a goal. They couldn't defend. Nothing. But then they brought in a new manager named Zaffaroni, and he has completely turned this team around. Hellas Verona went from the joke of Serie A to one of the better clubs post-World Cup break. They have scored in 6 of their last 7 and have only lost 1 of their last 5. They're taking on a Salernitana side that is the worst defensive unit in all of Italy. Take Hellas Verona to score in the first half here at -125. 74% of their total goals have come in the first half. This is a team that starts quickly and likes to go up early. Then for our second pick, I'm looking at the matchup between Sampdoria and Inter Milan. And this is another one that's kind of hard to find value, because Inter Milan is so much better than Sampdoria, but Inter Milan also has a Champions League game next week, so there's no reason to blow them out 4-0, 5-0, 6-0 like they could. This is a win 2-0 and then relax kind of game. I'm looking at a player prop for Lautaro Martinez anytime goal scorer at +120 over on Caesars Sportsbook. Lautaro Martinez has been in form since winning the World Cup with Argentina. He has scored 3 times in his last 3 games. He's going to be playing that 9 spot, and he will also be the penalty kicker for the side against the Sampdoria team that has given up more penalties than any team in Serie A.
Oh, I love those takes. Now, in the chat, John said, check your book. I found Verona -0.5 first half at better odds. Now, here's the problem, John, with that. If it's 1-1 at halftime, you don't win. If it's 1-1 Buckets way, you do win. Am I right, Buckets?
You are correct, yes.
So take that for what it's worth. He's just worried about Verona scoring because sometimes these teams can slip a goal in the first half, and you're like, what happened? That's why I hate playing win to nil. I hate win to nil. Hate it. Because the worst team can get lucky. The worst team can get lucky. All right, Buckets, thank you very much. By the way, hold tight, okay? Hold tight. All right, next up, Zack Attack. Now, you have decided to walk into the weeds. You've decided to walk into the ACC tonight. A long way from home, big boy. What do you like?
Well, I think this is 3 straight Mondays because I had Syracuse 2 Mondays ago against Virginia last week. We don't want to talk about Duke laying an egg against Miami, but here I am again. So let's go 2-1 on ACC Mondays here. I'm going to play North Carolina. It is -5.5. Was -4 last night. So I do want to say I hate aggressive line moves like that, but it's that time of year, as you said, Coach. There's going to be a lot of aggressive line moves in college basketball. You have to get used to it. But I will say Miami is a ranked team. They're probably going to have a lead in this game, so maybe you want to wait and get an in-game price on North Carolina. But I do think North Carolina does win and cover. But just in case you want to get a better number, you can wait for in-game with North Carolina. But it is currently -5.5. This is a Tar Heels team. We know the story. They came in as the preseason top team in college basketball, had all the players come back after what they did last year, but they just have taken it the entire season to get to where they need to be right now, and they have a lot of work to do. They're pretty much the last 4 in last time I looked at it. They lost 3 straight games, and now they had a big Saturday win, 20-point victory over Clemson, really the first profile victory they've had this season as far as ATS goes. And I look at this game, it is a circled matchup. This is a revenge spot. You hear that all the time in this business, but this is the proper saying for this one because last year Miami kicked their tails, 85-57, their worst loss last season. So I look at North Carolina. There is 6 games left in the season. This is the type of team they need to be at the bottom to get themselves going, just like last year. Last February they got going. I think they look at this right now. 6 games left, 3 on their home court against Miami, against Virginia, and against another team. So these are ranked opponents. They can't take them lightly. You have to defend your home court. Give me North Carolina -5.5. Clank, clank, clank.
I know. What the hell was that? Who was that?
No comment.
Oh, it was the maestro. You got 2 little ones running around. It's okay. Zach, you know how much I like you, right? Like we have a good relationship.
You go for that 4th showdown. Let's do it. Let's do it. Start that music.
Whoa!
Hold on. I don't even want to take the 5.5. I won't even take the 5.5. I want 4. I want the original number 4. I'll take Miami +4. You have North Carolina -4. Are you in? Clearly,
I am in.
All right.
I think my showdown streak with you, I think it's at 4 or 5 in a row. Look it up, Jake. Look it up.
Roll the music. Let's go.
It's gonna be a showdown.
Oh, and I looked at my Venmo account this morning, and there is Buckets. You know how much money I won last night off of our crew? Do you know how much I won? $500. Okay,
Coach. There is a philosophy in gambling. Once you're up, you better go deposit. don't go double down.
Yeah, that's true. There's also a philosophy. If you have pocket aces, you just keep playing. There's that philosophy too. So there's going to be 3 people. Then in about 20 minutes, you're going to just see a Venmo show up because I promised 3 of you who watched us live last night $100 cold hard cash. But that leaves $200 left that I will get to in a moment. Well, it's going to be $300 after the North Carolina-Miami game tonight. Thank you, Zach, for your donation to the chat. I was feeling froggy this morning. I wasn't going to make any plays, and I thought to myself, I looked at the numbers, and I was like, how can I not play these? So I've got 2 plays from the NBA. the National Basketball Association. They take center stage, right, with college basketball. Tonight, Rockets 76ers over 225.5. If you're sleeping on this Houston team, they have, at this time of the year, I love leaning into teams that have young players, still hungry, still trying to prove themselves. They're not a very good team, but they play hard, they score, and they play no defense. The absolute combination I'm looking for with an over. The Sixers will play to the speed of their opponents. It's what they do. So we'll go over 225.5. Then I love the Orlando Magic tonight, +5 in Chicago. The Bulls. They have been so wildly inconsistent. They'll get a 20-point lead, lose the game. They'll go down 20, come all the way back. The Magic are just like the Rockets. They have young, hungry players that want to prove themselves every single night. And when you play in MJ's house, you want to bring it. So we'll take the Magic plus the 5. All right. Danny says in the chat, Coach always gives it back. I do. I don't like to win for myself. I like to win for everybody else. So some things will never change, though. And as much as some of you want #bucket seat, that will never happen. It will never reset the Maestro spot. So, Maestro, floor is yours.
All right, this is the time of year when Baylor really kicks it into gear with Scott Drew and all of those tremendous guards, Flagler and Cryer and Keontae George. They've won 9 of 10. They've won 5 straight home games. It's Big Monday. They're hosting West Virginia. West Virginia just got blown out by 34 over the weekend at Texas. Now, West Virginia had a nice stretch going on, but most of that was at home. They only have one conference road win. And here's the thing, that their leading scorer, Eric Stevenson, a couple of games ago, I don't know if you saw it, he had to go out of the game. He got hit on the head. He came back, but so far he has not looked like himself. 2 of 13 in the last 2 games, has only played a total of 40 minutes. This is their key guy. This is a guy that had erupted for a couple of 30-point games. I'm not sure he's right. It's a quick turnaround on the road. I'm going to lay the points with Baylor. Keontae George, I should mention, only had 4 points in the win over the weekend, a nice road win, a comeback win for Baylor. He had 32 in the first meeting against West Virginia. I just think Bob Huggins, he has the talent, but it just has not come together this year. I'm going to lay the points.
Yeah, our simulations at SportsLine have them winning by 10, so that has your back as well. All right. I believe we need a spelling test. I believe I need to give out 2 more winners. 2. Giving away all the $500 if Buckets can get this right. And it's an easy one. Because I truly want people to win. I need #Buckets and your Venmo if you want to participate. $100 cold hard cash to 2 people right here, right now. If you can spell U.S. Salernitana, then they win. U.S. Salernitana.
U.S. Salernitana is U.S. space SALERNITANA.
Oh!
Let's go.
He's
back, Coach. He's back.
Let's go. 2 winners, baby. That means 5. 5 of you. In the next little bit, we'll get $100 cold, hard cash, which means I pocket nothing. And anybody that wants to say we're not transparent, we're here on video every single day. It's what we do for the people, by the people's champ, who I used to work with back in the WWE, named The Rock. See how I tied that all together, Buckets?
I thought you were saying I was the people's champ.
No, you're not the people's champ.
Okay, just making sure.
We're not going to disrespect The Rock like that. You look at the phone and go, what? No, we're not doing that.
Buckets, all credit to you. I thought that was like 10-1 that you were going to get that right.
I thought I was going to get him on the U.S. part. I thought he would forget that part. That's actually what I thought I would get you.
It was harder to spell with your pronunciation too, because it throws me off trying to do it how you pronounce it. I'm like, is there a no? We're good.
Oh, I love it. All right, 5 of you. 5 of you. That's the most we've ever given away at one time. But I love it. It's worth it, and I'm happy. All right. Good job today, gentlemen. Good job. Now, I need my single. Grab your paper. Grab your pencil. Here is the recap, courtesy of the Snake, who is always doing the right things, even if I ask him to do the wrong things. All right, Zack Attack, he's on North Carolina. But remember, he gave this out at -4. It's gone up 1.5. Why? We're not sure, but we have a showdown. I like Miami tonight, but take the information and make the play for yourself. If you like North Carolina, play the Tar Heels. Then Maestro, Baylor, -6.5 there at home. West Virginia played awful on Saturday. 2 days later, it's always a tough turnaround. I like this play a lot. Then Buckets, 2 plays today. Little Serie A, little Paramount Plus. Verona to score in the first half, -120. Then a little anytime goal scorer, Martinez in the other game, +120. That is Inter Milan and Sampdoria. Then 2 plays from me tonight in the NBA. If you're going to cash with the coach, it's going to be the Magic +5 and the Rockets Sixers over 225.5. And if truth be told, I'm just throwing a Philadelphia pick in there just to tweak the Eagles fans just a little bit. All right, should have picked the Rockets, though, to be honest with you, if I really wanted to do that. Then 1 play from SportsLine itself, Nuggets Heat over 220.5. Do not forget, because I saw many of you in the chat talking about how you made up for your Super Bowl losses because you bet on the Eagles with picks from the Early Wedge, our brand new golf show. So glad you guys are enjoying it. So glad you're cashing tickets. We take it seriously. And again, that show every single Wednesday through the Tour Championship at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. With all that being said, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. What a season it's been. For my entire crew, love them all. Buckets, Maestro, Zack Attack, of course, Snake, always on the 1s and the 2s. I am the coach. We'll see you later this afternoon. Early Edge in 5 at 4 p.m. We're the only sports betting show that has 2 shows a day. It's what we're all about right here at the Early Edge. Good luck.